All right, everyone. We are now officially live. This is Writing the Spectrum. And welcome to another episode of the Off-Road Campground podcast. And this is all about things to do during your downtime after a long day on the trail to make the best out of your camping trips when you're riding the trail, especially at Carolina Adventure World, other places like that. So let's kind of go over what I've done so far. I would bring movies on physical media because I want to have internet. So I bring movies on DVD, and I have a super drive. I plug it into my laptop. I'm able to lay in the bed, use my computer as a portable DVD player, and I'm able to watch movies right there in the cabin without having to need internet whatsoever. And don't pay attention to the DJ controller behind me. I am a DJ. That's when I'm, riding the trails is something I do when I'm not DJing, just to chill and take my mind off it for a while. So when it comes to finding stuff to do, because some of the trails close when the sun goes down, I guess I can go to what is the closing time of the trails of Carolina Adventure World. What's that? I didn't even pick it up. At Carolina Adventure World in Winnsboro, South Carolina, what time does the trails close? 6. Carolina Adventure World. I guess it's the time the trails close from 8 a.m. So they open at 8 a.m. and they close at 6 p.m. Normal hours every day. So 6 hours or 8 to 6. So from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I mean, that's kind of half a day. How many hours is 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.? So you get 10 hours of riding time on the trail. And if you're staying in one of the cabins, or you're going for multiple days, it's always going to find stuff to do. And what I like to do is down here is bring some of these movies on DVD, pack them in a bag, and bring my super drive, which I do have with me. So this super drive, I'm able to connect to an adapter like this, plug in the USB, and then convert that into USB-C, and I'm able to use it as a portable DVD player, which is why I bought it. So I can use it as a portable DVD player to replace the audio box that I bought on eBay, which ended up not working eventually. So I like to do that after dinner. So at 6 p.m., my dad usually gets on the griddle and cook burgers and hot dogs. And then around 6:30 or 7, I'm taking a shower. And after that, I'm watching movies on my disc drive. And I'm able to watch movies during my downtime on a long day of the trails. I mean, especially if I'm coming back from a Disney trip, I can watch movies like Tarzan 2, Jungle Book. What else do I have on DVD that's Disney? But here is a movie I love to watch at the cabin. And it's none other than Sweet Home Alabama. right here. This is my go-to movie to watch during my downtime on a long day of the trails. I guess because it's got that southern feel, but yeah, this movie is my go-to for downtime on a long day of the trails, but I'll always bring it. I brought it that one time. I mean, this is a movie I'm definitely going to be watching next time I go to Carolina Adventure World. If I don't have the movie, I watch some of the clips on my phone from Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know why. Maybe because the look and the feel of the cabin, given that southern vibe, so it really goes well with trail riding. But I'm not really sure. I guess it depends on the time of year for going trail riding. If it's October, I'll bring some Halloween movies. If it's early, like in December, but I doubt we will have a trail day in December. But if we do have a trail day in December, I bring Christmas movies. But it depends on the vibe and the time of year. Like there's been sometimes where my dad wants to take me trail riding. I just got back from Disney World, and watching Disney movies helps keep with that Disney magic. Or National Lampoon's Vacation. I've never really watched this movie in the cabin before. After a long day of trail riding, that's pretty much what I do to pass the time. I would watch movies. I would have a movie night. Because trail days are 10 hours, and movies are like an hour too long, and a couple of movies or so per night is enough to kill the time, and then it'll be time for bed, brush your teeth, and get a good night's sleep before the next day of trail riding. I mean, there's not much you can do because at these cabins, there's no Wi-Fi. There's no cell service. There's none of that. So you can't do some of the modern stuff. And some of them have little armoires where I guess you can bring a small 24-inch TV. I usually was going to originally plan on putting movies on one of these small USB sticks so you don't have to worry about damaging the discs. But that is a pain in the butt to put all your movies on a flash drive, plug it in, and hoping for the best because TVs and other players are very picky what comes on these flash drives. But another way of watching movies is by going to your computer's movie library. What movie libraries come with Windows 11? So if you have a Windows 11 computer, yeah, Windows 11 comes with several pre-applications for your accessing local music movie libraries and managing digital video content, notably the media player, movies, and TV. What about with accessing movies from Movies Anywhere? What digital retailer comes with Windows? Because I know with Mac you get the Apple TV app. Oh, Windows 11 does not come with any pre-installed digital retailer that connects to Movies Anywhere, as Microsoft officially ceased selling new content through its digital storefront and restricted its Movies Anywhere integration. Oh, here we go. To access Movies Anywhere on your Windows 11, you must have a web browser or download a third-party application from the Microsoft Store. Yeah, streaming via web browser, which won't work because you won't have internet. You can access your entire sync library directly by visiting the official Movies Anywhere website or any Windows 11 browser like Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome. And here are the digital retailers you can buy on the App Store, I guess, if it does have an App Store, because I don't know if Windows 11 has an App Store. I'm not used to Windows. I'm used to Mac. So if you bring a Windows computer, you can actually download movies from Amazon Prime, Fandango at Home, and Apple TV/iTunes. Yeah, Microsoft Store discontinuation. Microsoft completely stopped selling digital films and TV shows from the Microsoft Store, so it doesn't connect to movies anywhere. Especially if you buy movies from Blu-ray or a DVD digital combo pack. Account linking deadline. New movies anywhere accounts can no longer link to Microsoft accounts. Only older accounts linked prior to October 2025 can still view legacy movie or Microsoft purchases on the cloud locker platform, uh, which is why Macs are always better for downloading movies offline because it's integrated Apple TV app connects with Movies Anywhere. So all my Movies Anywhere purchases and all my digital purchases from the Apple TV store, I can go ahead and buy movies that I would want to buy. And what's really cool is I can look up by franchise or by studio. Like if I want to watch Disney movies, I can go and purchase Disney movies with a gift card and then have all those movies in my library ready to go and just download those offline because you don't have to worry about DVD ripping because on the back of these discs you get DRM protection and constantly swapping discs on a flash drive could ruin the disc or at least wear out the disc over time. I think that's what happened with my CDs. So ripping DVDs just for offline storage, it's hard. It's definitely difficult because you got to get around. It's just too complicated. Where you don't have to worry about flash drive incompatibility, especially if you bring a 24-inch TV or smaller, or bring any TV that can play movies offline in a cabin at, let's say, Carolina Adventure World or Riverneck. I mean, I've never stayed in a cabin at Riverneck since I'm literally down the road. It's basically a day trip for us at Riverneck. But for people out of town staying in a cabin, you can bring a TV or bring your laptop or bring anything to play movies on. And I know a lot of cabins down on the beach have Blu-ray players already hooked up. Just swap out the HDMI cord from the cable box to the Blu-ray player. I'm able to watch tons and tons of movies on Blu-ray or DVD on the TV, which I guess we'll talk about that with Surrey bike riding. If you're riding around the campground on a Surrey bike and you come back to your cabin, you can watch movies because a lot of places don't have internet, mainly with these off-road parks. I guess it'll be the same thing with a lot of the cabins at Durham Town in Georgia, also Windrock in Tennessee. I'm not sure how their internet thing is. I've never been there. I've never been to Durham Town in Georgia. I've never been to any of these other campground or any of these other off-road parks. I've only been to Carolina Adventure World and Riverneck, as you saw, because it's literally local to me. Living here in South Carolina, there aren't that many off-road parks. And because of that, Yeah, I don't really have many trailing experience. Just going to Carolina Adventure World and River Neck. But what I like to do is I like to watch movies and just lay in the bed and watch movies on my computer using my disk drive. Or if that thing stops working, I got my Apple TV app to download movies offline. I mean, it's really worked out for me, and it's going to continue to work out. I will figure out what to do with my smaller flash drives, because flash drives are very picky when it comes to the file types, and even though I'm doing everything right, they're just incompatible with certain devices. And because of that, I'm just going to keep the movies on the disc and watch them. We'll bring a tote bag to hold all my movies, and then bring a case or so, like a CD wallet or a DVD wallet or two, depending on how many movies I want to watch for the duration of the time. I mean, I think the best thing to do to, I guess, not waste time on packing a tote bag just to bring my childhood movies to watch, because we're not at Carolina Adventure World for no more than a day or two, and that's plenty of movies. And a lot of movies are like an hour too long, and that's perfect. And a lot of those can hold like 100 or so movies, depending on the size of the CD wallet, the DVD wallet. It's a good way to travel light. Just bring childhood movies that are in DVD wallets. Bring my disc drive, and I'm able to watch movies. Right then there. That's my go-to. That's my on-the-go copy. That's my on-the-go um, library. These DVDs are in the individual cases. I'm gonna keep them here at the house, and they will not be taken with me on the go, because I don't have. I'm definitely running out of space. So that's how I want to watch Sleeping Beauty. I can't. But what I can do is swap out my Blu-rays for a lot of these case DVDs as a second on the go copy if I want to bring certain movies in my other CD DVD wallets, and place my Blu-rays over to the side until I come home from Carolina Adventure World. I mean, there's a lot of things to do besides watch movies. I mean, I guess you could bring like board games, which I barely, I guess plenty, I guess. I'm not really a big board gamer. I'm not really a big person and a big fan of board games, but you can bring board games to pass the time. Actually, at Carolina Adventure World, they don't have anywhere to play games unless you're sitting at the table where you eat dinner. Just bring a game or two. Bring something small. This will be after showers and dinner. Yeah, there's really not much for me to do in the cabin except for watch movies. But I guess I can also, practice my DJing, because my DJing relies on offline music, which is great. Plug in my headphones, practice my DJing. That's another thing. I can practice my DJing. Go over DJ sets for upcoming gigs, which usually when I go trail riding I barely have any gigs, so I don't really need to, practice a whole lot. So that's basically the second thing for me that I can do, and that a lot of you can do as well. Listen to music offline. Download music offline if you listen to music. If you can bring movies, if you want to watch movies, you can play board games if you want to play board games. I mean, there's just so little time to do these activities before the next trail ride because usually I sit till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning just watching movies. Maybe even earlier because I go to bed earlier if I'm going to get up early for a trail ride at Carolina Adventure World because with Carolina Adventure World, they open up at 8 a.m. That's pretty early to go riding and have a full day on the trail. And I guess each trail, like Trail 6, which is a much more medium ish trail, and Trail 4, which is a little bit more experienced, a little bit easy. It takes like an hour, hour and a half to get through all those trails. So it's 4 hours, it's 4 hours there. And then I guess you would stop and have lunch. You would, I guess, especially if you're staying in a cabin, you go back to the cabin and have lunch, and then go back on the trail. Just manage your time. And that's what we do is we manage our time. Yeah, we manage our time wisely on the trail. Yeah, we manage our time wisely on the trail. But with your phone here, which this is an iPhone 15, but I guess any phone, you're gonna have very, very weak signal. You're gonna have very weak signal. So don't even bother with your phone. But I guess one way you listen to music while you're on the trail is to download offline. Because I know the internet's gonna be spotty at Carolina Adventure World. It's gonna be a very weak signal. So it's always good to download the playlist offline to have a good troublesome or trouble free experience. Listen to music on here. It's just like with movies and TV shows, you would have to find an application that you can download stuff from streaming and have an offline locker of some of your favorite movies and TV shows to watch in the cabin because cabins do not have internet. But I guess what you can do is bring a small smart TV, and I guess you can't AirPlay it. You have to bring an HDMI and HDMI cord. You have to bring HDMI cord and route the cord to from the laptop to the TV and use it as a secondary monitor for your movies and TV shows. Which I've never really tried that. I've always watched it on the laptop screen, which is very uncomfortable after a while. But it's always good to bring like snacks and drinks for your movie night. Bring popcorn, and you can actually bring a small, cheap DVD player and TV setup. Have a family movie night. Bring popcorn, get snacks, drinks, whatever for a movie night. Which for me personally, my 24-inch TV from Walmart issues at my office, and I'm usually not at the office. So I'll have to find something to watch movies and TV shows on without having to bring the discs and damaging them. And especially with the dirty floors, the disc can get scratched. But I guess if you take care of them and handle them properly, they won't fall onto the floor, especially with a lot of that dirt. Just wipe it off. And sometimes the movies won't even play again. I mean, it's always going to bring an offline setup. But it's always good to watch it just on the laptop. Or bring a portable DVD player. That's another thing. You can bring a portable DVD player, plug it up, and play your movies. I'm trying to look around here to see what else I can bring. Oh, but back in the day, you would bring something like, let me show you. Something like this. A small CRT TV. This was I mainly bought it at the thrift store for camping. Yeah, radio, TV, AV, VL, VH, and UHF. But what's really weird about these TVs is that the analog TV was shut down. But I guess what you can do is use that small TV and have a DVD player hooked up to it, but the circuitry in here is pretty much done for. You'll get like shaky footage and messed up footage a lot on this TV. Suntone TV, and this is a 5-inch black and white TV. I mainly bring this. I mainly bought this mainly for durability, and maybe it doesn't really matter what happens to it because it's in a cabin and it's not really the best. But it looks cool. Reminds me of some of the TVs I had back in the day to watch TV on. The actual live TV hasn't worked since 2009. But the ones that have an AV input, the ones that have an AV input on the back and connect a DVD player or a VCR or whatever you want to the back of it and use it as a monitor to watch those movies, especially with DVD. I can bring my bring my childhood movies. I can bring my childhood movies on DVD and watch them on a DVD player. So yeah, I guess the best thing to do is to grab a modern TV instead of a old school TV, because these things probably don't even work anymore. These are from back in the day. So the best thing to do is to grab a modern TV. Just look up TVs for camping. Let's see what some other things you can do. I mean, there's not much you can do. due to the Wi-Fi, cell service is being spotty. So there's a lot of modern stuff you can't do. But I guess anything you did after a long day, like back in the day before the internet took over, that's some stuff you can do. Board games, watching movies on DVD, and maybe even Blu-ray. Bring a Blu-ray player, hook it up to a modern TV, put the disc in, or just bring a TV with a built-in DVD player. Just bring that one TV, plug it in, you're good to go. Those kind of TVs are still popular for camping because it doesn't require internet. But I guess you can bring a modern TV, put movies on a flash drive, but that's not going to work. Especially for a 16 gig or a 64 gig thumb drive. Vinyl can stay here at the house when camping. A boombox, maybe, but I would keep those at at here at the house, or a Bluetooth speaker, because it's always good not to, because you don't want to disturb the peace of people riding around and stuff like that. So there's not much we can do because board games, there's no, because I know a lot of bigger, um, with bigger cabins, with a lot of larger cabins at some of these off-road parks. There's not much we can do. So after you go riding and the trails close, that's when, especially if you're camping, it's always good to go back, have dinner, take a shower, and chillax. And that's what this episode's for. Is that after the trails close, let's see what time Riverneck closes. River Neck Acres, and they close at 11 p.m. So you still got a little bit more time. Hours may differ, especially with Memorial Day weekend. And they're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 11 p.m. So you still get a lot longer hours to go riding around at Riverneck. Especially if you're camping there, you got a lot more hours. But it's always good to head back, have dinner, and then you can go riding around for a little bit longer before they close. And when they close, I guess it'll be almost time for bed. Take a shower. You get it's gonna be until 11:30 midnight. So, I guess with trail riding at Riverneck, they close at 11. Where Cal Adventure World is early at 6 p.m. So I guess what you can do is head back to the cabin and do the list for board games, watching movies, watching TV or whatever, it'll definitely work out. Yeah, it'll totally work out because trail riding lasts no more than a day or two. There's not much you can do when you're off roading and going, trail riding. So I guess there's a lot more to do at the Half of McCoy trails because there's thousands of miles. There's like multiple trail systems for the Half of McCoy trails, and I don't think they actually have cabins. We'll go to ChatGPT and maybe research a list. But I guess if you're not, in a cabin, you can still do the same thing, but in a tent or a camper. I mean, with a tent, basically you would sit around the fire, talk, bring a battery powered um, portable DVD player, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's so much you can do when you're in a tent, but in a camper, it's just like staying in a cabin where you got electricity, you got a TV, you got a table for like board games, you get, I guess, a stove, microwave, like a whole kitchen. Same thing with a cabin, you get a kitchen. Well, some have kitchens. And you would bring food, drinks, snacks, whatever. But I guess you can come up with your own schedule of what you want to do, especially with your downtime after a long day on the trails, because especially at Carolina Adventure World where they close at 6, and that's usually at sundown. But I guess during the summer, that's still somewhat daylight. But I guess you can also go to the gift shop of some of these places, look around. So yeah, they have a bar. They have a little mini gift shop. There's a lot of activities over by the check-in, but in the cabin, yeah, there's not much you can do. I know what I like to do is watch movies. But here are some of the top things that most people do during their downtime. So we'll go to chatgpt.com. List of the most common things a lot of writers do during their downtime in a cabin after a long day on the trails. Oh, here we go. List of most common things. Oh, long day running on the trails. At let's see, Carolina Adventure World. After a long day riding at Carolina Adventure World, a lot of riders settle into a pretty familiar cabin routine for an off-road campground. Okay. Here are the most common downtime activities: food and hangout time. Basically, they hang out. It was just me and my, let's see, food and hangout time. Yeah, firing up the grill for burgers, hot dogs, steaks, or barbecue. Sitting around the campfire, swapping trail stories, which we barely have. It's just me and my dad most of the time. And we usually have downtime. Having snacks and drinks while everyone replays the day's ride, ordering pizza or easy food after being too tired to cook. I mean, we kind of do that during dinner, the trail stories. We talk about that during dinner, but then, yeah, machine check and maintenance, cleaning expensive mud off, yeah, cleaning extensive mud off machines, checking tires and air pressure, look over suspension and steering components, tightening up bolts that rattle loose, refueling for the next day, charging radios, phones, GoPros, and lights. Oh, here we go. Media and tech time. Watching GoPro footage on phones or TVs, which for me would be my computer, because I connect it to the computer and I build the video on the computer and I'm able to watch it on the computer. Posting photos and video to social media. Yeah, it could take some time due to the weak cell service that we have. Uploading clips to TikTok or YouTube. That doesn't happen until the time I get home because we don't have much Wi Fi or cell service. Editing highlight reels. Looking at trail maps for tomorrow. Oh, here we go. Cabin entertainment. Playing cards, Uno and poker are common. Board games, cornhole outside if energy remains. Video games, if it's offline, then yeah. Watching movies and sports, yeah. Bring DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. Relaxation and recovery, taking showers after being covered in dust and mud. Yeah, definitely after dinner. Shortly after dinner, sitting on the porch with music playing. We barely do that. Stretching sore backs and shoulders. Yeah, relaxing in rocking chairs. We never do that. Take power naps. We never do that unless it's late at night. Playing tomorrow's ride, deciding what trails to hit first, difficulty levels, scenic routes versus routes, meeting times, and fuel stops. As if you're going with more than two people. Late night cabin conversation that barely happens. Talking upgrades, tires, lift kits, lights, winches, and audio systems. Debating brands and setups, future riding tips or trips. So basically, my routine when I'm staying in the cabin, let's say Carolina Adventure World. I mean, the same thing can happen at any trail. It could be Riverneck. It could be Durhamtown in Georgia. It could be Wind Rock in Tennessee. I mean, I guess the same thing can be for the Half of McCoy trails Where do people stay when they're trail riding at the Hatfield and McCoy trails in West Virginia? Okay, so we get different lodging. So for the Hatfield McCoy trails, yeah, most people riding the Hatfield McCoy trails do not stay in traditional hotels. Most common setup is trailside cabins, ATV/UTV resorts, campgrounds and RTV or RV sites, lodging and rental houses, and hotels in ATV friendly towns. Popular places riders commonly use is the Devil Aints ATV Resort, Local Goat ATV Resort, Riverfront ATV Resort, Hatfield Trail Lodging. I guess even with cabin rentals, let's go to the cabin rentals. So you can stay in a cabin. So it's pretty much the same thing through every trail system. You're gonna eventually see a cabin, and with a lot of these being in rural areas, it's always going to bring physical, especially if you still have physical media in 2026. It's a good offline um, access to your favorite movies and TV shows without having to access them on the internet, which is great. And most people thinking physical media is dead in 2026, think again. It's still perfect for those rural areas. And you can still go to like, I guess you can say I like to bring movies I already own and find some of my favorite movies to watch on the computer, especially with Apple still, I guess they stopped making their super drive. So when mine goes away, I'll just have to keep buying my movies digitally. That's another thing. There's still digital retailers to download movies offline. How do people now in 2026 watch movies offline in rural areas in um, rural areas in rural areas that doesn't have any cell service or Wi-Fi, especially with physical media dying or becoming more of a niche product. Oh, in 2026, people in rural areas with no cell service or Wi-Fi usually don't stream in real time. They prepare content before they leave home. The most common methods are downloading movies before the trip. Streaming apps let people save content to a phone or tablet while connected. So I guess it's mostly phones and tablets that most people go to. Common examples like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, and YouTube. Yeah, people often download several movies onto an iPad, phone, or laptop before heading out to a campground, trail ride, cabin, or RV trip. Keep movies on a USB drive or external SSD. A lot of campers, off road riders, and RV travelers carry downloaded movie files on flash drives or portable SSDs and plug them into smart TVs, laptops, projectors, and vehicle infotainment screens. Number three, physical media. Yep, people still use physical media. DVDs and Blu-rays are still used more than many people expect in remote areas. Cabins and RVs sometimes still keep a small movie collection. Portable media servers. Some people set up small local storage devices that create their own private network, no internet needed. Everyone at camp connects locally and watches downloaded movies, which is great. So, number one is downloading movies before the trip off of these streaming services, mainly with phones and tablets, but not as much with laptops. How can I do that with my 2024 M3 MacBook Air 15-inch? Yes, since I have a 2024 M3 MacBook Air 15-inch, you're already set up for offline movies because of the large screen, battery life, and storage. Based on the setup, here's the easiest way. Yeah, number one, download inside the Apple TV app built into the Mac. Open the Apple TV app, sign in with your Apple ID, find a movie or TV show, download and press the download button. Later, with no Wi-Fi or cell service, open the TV app library and download it. Press play and watch offline. Apple supports downloading content on Mac for offline viewing. Those some titles and channels have time/device limits. Some services allow offline viewing on Mac apps, while others are more limited. Availability changes by service and title. Useful apps: Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. But those aren't even those aren't even on the App Store. I guess you would go to a third party application. You would pay for that service, log into your other services, and download those offline. Now, option three: build an offline trail/camp movie library. Yeah, keep them on your Mac SSD or USB flash drive or external SSD. Then a cabin, plug your Mac into a TV using USB-C to HDMI. Wow. But with physical media, it's basically like getting a disk drive, hook up to the computer, and it'll load up the DVD player app, which is still relevant in 2026, especially in rural areas like RV camps and not RV camps, but off road park, off road parks and places like that, even the mountains. With those trail systems like Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia, Georgia, there's here in Carolina, we're on a top hill. So service is very spotty because we're on top of a hill. Um, River Neck is different because I guess we're at ground level and we're above ground level at Carolina Adventure World because you got to go up a hill, get checked in, and you got even more hills, which makes the cell service that much more spotty at a place like Carolina Adventure World than at River Neck. And that's where my physical media comes in. I mean, that's all I ever do is watch movies because they are long enough to really pass the time before I have to go to bed, get up the next morning to go for another day of trail riding. I mean, there's other things to do. Like there's board games, there's campfires. But usually it's been me and my dad. We don't like to do much of anything. I mean, it's always good to have a little bit more people than just me and my dad, from family to come and go trail riding, do stuff outside before heading in for the night. I mean, there's so much stuff to do. And I don't really know exactly. At the cabin I usually stay at, has a traditional, fire pit, which I think is called Turtle Pond. Because I think with Turtle Pond, it's in a different area. So come back to here, settings. Yeah, I think it's under data controls. Delete all chats. Confirm deletion. Does the Turtle Pond cabin at Carolina Adventure World have a fire pit? Oh, at Carolina. Yeah, Carolina Adventure World have a fire pit. So for yes, the Carolina Adventure World cabin listings indicate that their cabins include fire rings, and the Turtle Pond cabin is one of those cabin accommodations. The Turtle Pond page itself lists its room specific amenities, while the overall cabin description says cabin comes with picnic tables and fire rings. Show me pictures of the Turtle Pond cabin. Okay, searching for pictures. Okay, I can't find photos from Carolina Adventure World's cabin gallery. I couldn't pull dedicated label photos specifically for Turtle Pond. I mean, that's good enough. Coyote Cabin. Yeah. It's not as big. I guess each room has a bunk bed. But I guess we can go to Carolina Adventure World. Yeah, cabins at Carolina Adventure World. And we usually stay at Turtle Pond. And it comes with fresh linens. So we'll go to stay, cabins. Yeah, a lot of these aren't really the best. We usually stay in Turtle Pond. Here are Turtle Pond. Yeah, that's where I usually stay. I guess that window is my actual bedroom that I stay in. Yeah, and there's the porch where we usually put the Yeah, that's where we usually put the grill. Yeah, this is nice looking. It's a nice cabin. I can't wait to try out all the different cabins at these different campgrounds. That's become fun. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these other um, ATV parks and go riding around at like in Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia, all along the East Coast. But these are some of the stuff you can do to pass the time when you're camping. So, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Off Road Campground Podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.